What'd you learn, Zach?
Guys, absolutely horrible, devastating news. About 15 minutes after Sean Payton talked to the media, he came back into the room, and I'd heard just before he came in that there was something bad with Bo, and then Sean confirmed it, that he fractured an ankle or a bone in his ankle. His season's over. He's going to have surgery on Tuesday in Birmingham, and Sean was in disbelief, stunned. You could tell right when he walked into the room that literally his starting quarterback was just taken away from him for the rest of the season after what an incredible win. I mean, the emotions were all over the place during the game, and then all of the emotions were sucked out with this news. It's such fresh news that Sean Payton hadn't even told the team. In fact, when I walked onto the field, I had to tell some of Bo's teammates that what happened there. Disbelief, stunned. I'm texting some people, some players and people in the organization. Horrible disbelief. They can't believe it. Those are some of the words coming out from here. But it's next man up, because the Broncos, they won. They're in the AFC Championship game. They have another game to play in this a week from tomorrow. And so Sean Payton made it very clear that they have all the confidence in the world in Jarrett Stidham. And this confidence has been in Sean for a year now. Sean Payton's made it very clear that he believes Jarrett Stidham is a starting quarterback in the NFL. We know Jarrett feels that way as well. And so Sean relayed that message once again. He said, both Jarrett and I believe that he would be a starting quarterback for many teams in the NFL, and then dropped a key line. He said, watch out for Jarrett Stidham, because he knows that he is capable, and just what horrible circumstances that Jarrett Stidham has to step up here. Bo played an incredible game, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. The fractured ankle happened on the second to last play, and then Bo did that final kneel down. We have not seen Bo. He's with his family. Sean said that he has a lot of faith in the Lord. And Sean said that, man, he's one tough cookie, and he's going to make it through. But just the absolute worst news after one of the best games in Broncos history, guys. You could tell that Sean Payton was pretty emotional up on the podium, just like I'm sure all of his teammates will be, and like I saw some of his teammates be.
Hey, Zach, Sean said watch out today after the press conference when talking about Jarrett Stidham?
Yes. And man, this guy can play. Watch out for him. The exact quote said, Jarrett Stidham, quote, he's ready. And then, quote, watch out. Just watch. He said, quote, I've got a 2 that's capable of starting for a number of teams. Of course, the 2 is Jarrett Stidham. And then he did confirm that Sam Ehlinger will be the backup quarterback here. So literally, when I was walking onto the field, ran into a couple of players, and they all were stunned when I told them the news. But they said, Stidham's ready. And that was a conversation that I had with them, not on camera. And so it's next man up. It's Jarrett Stidham's team now. And the last time we saw Stidham play, guys, he legitimately was the MVP of the preseason. So that Jarrett Stidham, the Broncos are going to count on this week.
What injury updates do we have on Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant?
Yeah, no other injury updates, but Sean made it very clear, and guys, we could tell from watching the game how much they wanted Pat Bryant to be a part of this game. And then when he was taken out, the first 3 passes were all thrown his way, and after his 3rd completion is when he got the concussion. Then it's next man up. Obviously, we saw little Jordan Humphrey. He rebounded in an incredible way after dropping that touchdown by getting another touchdown. And then it was Marvin Mims, and holy cow, did Marvin Mims step up in the absence of Pat Bryant and Troy Franklin. 8 catches on 8 targets for 92 yards, the game-winning touchdown. Marvin was absolutely incredible. And guys, the Broncos are going to have to rely on Marvin in a massive way. We did not find out any additional information about Pat Bryant other than he's in the concussion protocol, and Troy Franklin dealing with that hamstring injury that was bad enough to rule him out for this game. But when it comes to Marvin Mims, it's going to be him, Cortland Sutton. Those are the 2 guys that Jarrett Stidham is now really going to have to rely on. And a big factor in this is going to be Sean Payton, guys. He was in his bag in the first half. He said in the second half that the Bills changed up everything they were doing on defense, gave them completely new looks, and that's a reason that the Broncos offense sputtered in the second half until it picked up again. But we're going to have to see Sean Payton get into his bag even more than he already was today. And man, I thought he was fantastic for the majority of the game in the first half and in overtime. He's going to have to do that even more with Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah. And people in the chat still asking, yeah, Bo broke his ankle he's out for the rest of the way. It looked like it was on the kneel down, which is interesting, but sounds like it might not have been. But yeah, tough, really tough. What do we know about where JK is in his recovery, and Luke Wattenberg too? Is there a chance they get their starting running back and center back? I mean, doesn't make up for losing Bo, of course, but at least it's something.
Well, it'd be key. I mean, we saw that it was Sam Mustipher playing center for the Broncos to end the game. That's their third string center with a backup quarterback in the AFC Championship game. That is an incredibly tall task for anyone to overcome and get through. So Luke Wattenberg is capable of returning this coming week. A lot of eyes are going to be on him to see if he comes back this week. Sean Payton did say that he was on the border of having to go on the injured reserve, so I would expect that there's a good chance that he can play. And then J.K. Dobbins, man, they're going to need him next week as well, because the Broncos, you could just tell that they were not comfortable running the ball in the second half. Bo Nix led the team in rushes. That's obviously not going to happen moving forward. He led the team in rushing yards as well. Getting J.K. back would be huge help for Jarrett Stidham. We did see J.K. take the practice field this week on the side field. He was doing drills on the side. That's the first time we've seen him on the practice field, and that's an encouraging sign moving forward that he could potentially be back next week. And man, they're going to need that. They're going to need Troy Franklin if he can play. But I think that this is going to be all on Marvin Mims, R.J. Harvey, Jaleel, and Cortland Sutton to have massive games. And Marvin really stepped up today when they needed it.
Zach, you know who's
and Henry really
go ahead.
Really quick, sorry, Benny. Just to reset, because I just did talk to Sean Payton when he announced the news. Just to reset, so everyone knows, Bo Nix fractured the bone or a bone in his ankle on the second to last play of the game. He's having surgery in Birmingham this coming Tuesday, and his season is officially done. So that's everything we know right now. Sean Payton was going to hold this news and tell the team in the team meeting, but he didn't, because they're not meeting tomorrow, so he'd have to hold it till Monday, and he just knew that the news wasn't going to. So players and the entire team found out through the media when Sean was at the podium right there.
Zach, can you talk a little bit about what was going on with the defense today? What did the defensive players have to say? Oh, you went out in the dark.
Yeah, I'm still here, guys. They just turned the lights off at the stadium. When it comes to the defense, it was all about hunting the ball. That's what Malcolm Roach was saying after the game. They've been practicing hunting the ball all season long, and we know that the takeaways have not come until week 18 of the regular season, when the Broncos got 2 turnovers against Trey Lance and that Chargers offense. Then they came in bunches today, and I'll tell you what, this defense is what's going to have to carry them when you don't have Bo Nix, and this defense did it with 5 takeaways, guys. That is just insane what they were able to do. Yeah, Nick Bonito with 2. I loved what Nick said after the game when I asked him about his first takeaway on Josh Allen. He said, I saw Josh holding the ball all week on film with one hand, so I knew if he was out that I was going to be able to hunt for the ball. That's what he did on his first one. The second one, we just saw him get off the edge and absolutely destroy Josh Allen to force that fumble. And then how about Jaquan McMillan coming up huge? Sean Payton said, you might not see another play like that for 5 years. And J-Mac, what an awesome story for him. You could tell how proud he was. He said, the odds have always been against me, and I come up big when it matters the most. And holy cow, did he, guys. The Bills locker room was complaining, saying that Brandon Cooks had possession there. J-Mac was asked about that, and he said, I took it from him. He didn't have possession. I took it from him. And man, was that a game-saving play down to the 1 millisecond where he stole the game from the Bills and got it for the Broncos. Because if J-Mac doesn't make that play, the Broncos lose. And we're talking about the Broncos season being over. Instead, we're talking about an AFC Championship game and an awesome play from J-Mac. 2 from Nick Bonito, and 5 in total. That's what the Broncos defense wanted to do, and they did it on the biggest stage today.
Stidham's favorite target in the preseason, Evan Ingram breakout game next week.
It's true.
Mark it down.
Mark it down.
I love it.
Oh,
I love it.
Brutal.
They're going to need Evan Ingram.
After all that happened in that game, again, from that first drive, we're like, oh my goodness, they look incredible, to the drop to Lil Jordan, where you say, oh no, they blew it. And then the Bills go and score. It was just highs and lows and highs and lows, and the 13-point lead, and then you're down. And it felt like the Broncos wound up on top next thing you know, this feels just about as bad as losing the football game.
I wonder who's doing the
100%.
surgery.
100%.
Dr. Andrews.
Sean did announce who's doing the surgery. It's in Birmingham, and I don't remember the name of the doctor. I'll send it to you guys right after this when I can re-listen to the audio. But yeah, just I mean, you talk about the wave of emotions, Henry. The highs of the highs, the lows of the lows. Alex Singleton with what felt like a potential game-changing, even though it was in the first half, a game-changing fumble that he had on James Cook. That was a monster hit. And then Sean Payton actually pointed to the final 27 seconds when the Broncos had that 10-point swing, and he said that was kind of the turning point in the game right there. That allowed the Broncos to go up to that 23-10 lead. They blow it. They come back. Bo does his thing. Mr. Comeback guys. He has the most wins. Bo Nix has the most wins in NFL history for a quarterback in his first 2 years in the season. I believe just overtook Russell Wilson for that. And for him to accomplish that, the most important thing for a quarterback is to get teams wins, to get teams deep into the playoffs, which he just did. And to have him break his ankle in the final 2 plays of the game is just, it's heartbreaking. It's devastating. I can't imagine what he's going through. He was with his family right after the game, and I could tell that there was some pandemonium and some mayhem going on with the way I saw some people reacting after the game, and then got that confirmed. And then Sean Payton came out a second later. So it is the whirlwind of emotions is going to still be impacting the Broncos country over these next 8 days. And I mean, just think about this. Obviously, no one would ever want to be in this situation. But what if Jarrett Stidham leads this team to the Super Bowl in 8 days from now? If the Broncos are able to get 5 takeaways, they'll have a good shot at that with J.K. Dobbins potentially back, with Luke Walkenberg back. It's an incredibly difficult task, but the Broncos, they believe in Jarrett Stidham. As Sean said, just watch out.
Stidham's 3rd year in this offense.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
and most recent we saw him, he was fantastic in the preseason. Absolutely fantastic.
At the end of the day, you hate to see this for Bo, but if we're going to spin this, and as a former player, the way I would be thinking about this right now is that you can't sulk right now. You have to get ready. You have to go in there. You pat Bo on the back, and then you get ready. Sean, like he said, you watch out for a guy like Jarrett Stidham, who's been in the league for a little bit, somebody who knows this offense really well, somebody who played well in the preseason, and somebody who has a different style of game than Bo does.
It's true.
So Sean's this is what you have a Sean Payton for. You hate to see it. But when you think about Philly and them going to the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, hey, defense got to step up. They got to make plays, and they can make plays. So, look, the season ain't over, and this isn't a rookie backing up another a second-year player. This is a veteran backing this guy up. So, Broncos country, you got to help the team out even more next week in terms of crowd noise and being there and encouraging these guys. Don't give up now.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, Benny, the Broncos country definitely showed up today, and you're absolutely right. They're going to have to show up even more next week. They had the orange rally towels that made for a very, very cool environment, and you could tell, especially early in the game, the first drive for the Bills, they had to call a timeout before their second play because Broncos country was so loud. When the receivers broke the huddle, receivers were having to go over and talk to each other because they couldn't hear the play in the huddle. You're absolutely right, Benny. Broncos country stepped up today, and they're going to have to step up even more next week for the first AFC Championship game hosted in the Mile High City since Peyton Manning and Benny Fowler and Aqib Talib and Chris Harris and all those guys beat Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski to send the Broncos to Super Bowl 50. So you're 100% right, Benny. Of course, people are going to be stunned. People are going to be so sad for Bo, so sad for the team, but it's about next man up, and it's about moving on. So I imagine there's going to be that 24-hour rule of enjoying this win and trying to process what happened with Bo. But then Monday morning, when they're back in the building, they'll know who their opponent is, and it'll be all about Jarrett Stidham and thinking about getting this win, not about sulking on what just happened.
Oh, there's no more enjoying the win.
No.
The injury takes that out of it, and now you're only thinking about, like, as a player, you automatically think about what can I do to help Stidham? That's what everybody, defense, offense, special teams. You're not even thinking about the win as a player anymore.
Yep.
or even
Speaking
just
of-
Broncos country
speaking
in
of-
general.
Speaking of the special teams, Benny, after Marvin Mims got hit really hard and was evaluated for a concussion, the Broncos took him out of kick return from special teams because they wanted to have him as a receiver, especially with Troy going down, especially with Pat going down. I would not be surprised if that's what happens next week as well. So in terms of special teams, that's the next man up because you have to have Marvin Mims. He was fantastic. When the moment is the biggest, Marvin Mims steps up the most. We saw it at the end of last year, and we're seeing it right now. The Broncos are going to have a big-time game from Marvin Mims next week. And while drops went around this offense today, just like they did last year in Buffalo, it did not happen with Marvin Mims. 8 catches on 8 targets, 92 yards, and that game-winning touchdown. So I would not be surprised if we don't see Marvin Mims as a returner next week, and instead he's just that wide receiver 2 opposite Courtland Sutton.
All right. Thanks, Zach, for jumping on. Sorry I called you Jack. We appreciate it, and we'll talk again on Monday.
All right. Wishing all the best to Bo, and we will see you guys on Monday.
Nice quarter zip, bro.
That was a nice quarter zip. All right. That was Zach Stevens.